Thanks for joining us. Well, Trade and Investment Minister Andrew Robb is conducting a new round of discussions in India this week in what will be his fourth visit this year to push the proposed agreement, although the one-year deadline seems unlikely to be met. For more, we're joined by Rohini Kappadath, the Director of Cross-Border Business at Pitcher Partners. Rohini, welcome to the program. Now, Australia has really been refocusing its trade diplomacy on opportunities in India. What do you make of this and why?
I think it's appropriate for Australia to be focusing on India now. I mean, historically, Australia has been trading with China and India, going back to 3 centuries ago as well. In fact, the ports of Calcutta and Canton were where we saw most of our goods coming in the years gone by during the early settler period. So it's actually quite fitting that we're now taking another look at India and trading with what is going to become a very, very large trading partner for us. And
Mr. Robb really says he's striving for a high-quality agreement. What opportunities does an FTA with India present, and what sectors would benefit the most in your view?
Well, I think that, so far we've heard a lot about the, 250 million emerging middle-class consumers. We've heard that myth being spoken about a lot, but I think what we've not been focused enough on is the luxury and the premium market segment. And I think given where Australia is placed and how we're viewed, how brand Australia is viewed in the Indian and the Chinese markets, we really have an opportunity to go up the value chain and access the wealth that is being created by the super rich Indians and the Asians. So I would be focusing a lot of my energies now on the premium and the luxury market segments, with a lot of our great produce, as well as our luxury services, and all the innovative ideas that I know for sure that we have captured within our economy.
And as I understand it, Indian officials have been watching the labour entry rules that the government has been negotiating, particularly in regards to the China FTA. Is that another theme that you would expect to emerge from a potential India FTA?
Well, of course. I mean, this has, of course, been a bone of contention with respect to the FTAs, and no doubt the Indian government is also looking very closely at what the labour market mobility provisions are going to be. All these markets are wanting to access the Australian labour markets as well. But I think that, more importantly, our services are required for India's transformation. Engineering services, infrastructure services, project management services are, of gold standard, and clearly India requires a lot of our capability and know-how to power its own growth, including in the tourism sector, as well as in the education and the vocational education sector, in biotechnology. The list really does go on. I think the conversation now needs to get to, well, how do the Australian entrepreneurs, especially the younger entrepreneurs, how do they really access and unlock the value capture opportunity that sits in the Indian economy? I think that the national conversation really does have to now step up to the how, rather than just the language that we've been hearing so far about how big the opportunity is. I think we all understand that, but really these are very, very complex markets. The competition got into this market 15 years ago. We're a little bit behind, so it's going to demand a lot more innovative capacity from us. We're going to have to be a lot more agile and innovative in order to really capture this opportunity.
So you're really looking for the devil in the detail?
That's right. I'd really like to be now having the conversation about, well, how do we really do this? We all understand that it's all about relationships. It's about navigating these very, very complex markets with great relationships that are influential, with really understanding the customer, understanding customer preferences at a very, very detailed level. There really is no time for the 20,000-foot level discussion about these markets. market. This is a very, very difficult game now to win in a highly competitive environment, in an environment where you're competing with the rest of the world, with all of their innovative capacity as well. And we really do have to get down to the detail of, well, how do we get the true customer insights that will enable us to execute a highly nuanced strategy in the marketplace. And that's what it's all about. It is the devil really lies in the nuances, and the profit lies in the nuances. It is only a nuanced strategy that is going to deliver the sized returns that are to be gained from these markets. But that will not come, again, without a very long-term perspective on the market opportunity. And Australian companies should be encouraged now to think from a 15 to 20-year lens. And I know that's very hard for some companies to comprehend because of the prevailing short-term thinking that exists within our economy. But really, there is no other way to win in these Asian markets. This is a marathon and not a 100-metre sprint.
Rohini, really appreciate your insights. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Dan.
Across Australia, this is Asia Pacific Outlook, and around the world, you're watching Australia Channel. Up next, analysts are split whether Japan will expand easing or not. Bring some live analysis with